Mike Pompeo is the head of the CIA, and he was at a defense conference. How douchey does that sound? Let's all get together and talk about how we're going to keep ourselves safe by, like, going on the offense and doing wars all over the place. So he spoke about non-state threats to the U.S. Let's see who he includes in that group.
I talked about these non-state actors. And it's not just WikiLeaks. Indeed, I may have overemphasized them. They're an enormous threat. We're working to take down that threat to the United States as well, to reduce the threat from all of it. But Hezbollah, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, none of them sit at the UN. These are all non-state actors, each of which has not only cyber capacity, but they look and feel like very good intelligence organizations. They run assets, they run counterintelligence programs, they lure dangles, all the tradecraft that you read about from the excellent work that the agency has done and that the competitors, our state competitors, have done for decades and decades, you now see being adopted by these non-state agencies. The rules that we have in place at the agencies today do not, intelligence community today, do not reflect this change. We modeled on a nation-state model as we developed our collection authorities. And so we are well along the way at refining that to make sure we have the right rules, policies, and understanding about these non-state threats so that we can apply the same good work against them that we do against our state intelligence adversaries as well.
You know, those big threats to the U.S., I think about them all the time. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hezbollah, and WikiLeaks. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Yes, ISIS and Al-Qaeda are definitely threats to the U.S. They're threats to everybody. They're jihadist groups. Here's the dirty little secret. You have funded them in the past. Remember, under, you meaning the CIA, under Ronald Reagan, the Mujahideen, we gave them arms, we gave them funding because they were fighting the big bad Soviet Union, but also now in Syria. In Syria, we've backed the rebels. And there's been arms going to the rebels. The rebels are, many of them, jihadist groups. So, you know, you have a weird way of showing how you're against ISIS and Al-Qaeda by propping them up. And by the way, you might think, oh, this sounds Alex Jonesy. Nonsense. It's actually all 100% on the record. David Petraeus floated the idea of directly funding Al-Qaeda. Not even the various linked jihadist groups or the ones who we think are reasonable enough, but they're Islamists. No. David Petraeus floated this, yeah, like, let's just arm Al-Qaeda because they'll fight ISIS. Right, arm the people who fucking attacked us on 9/11. That won't come back to bite us in the ass. So, the real threats there are the ones where they're the less against. Now, notice what they do, though. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, they threw in Hezbollah. Anybody who knows anything about the Middle East knows. There's no way you should throw in Hezbollah with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Say what you want about Hezbollah. They're nothing like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. In fact, they literally protect the existence of gay bars in Lebanon. This is a group that's currently fighting jihadists like ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria. It is... You would have to know nothing about the Middle East to throw in Hezbollah with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, or it's worse than that, and these guys just lie. Because the reality is, they view Hezbollah as a threat to Israel. And since they think they're a threat to Israel, they act like, well, they're like basically the same as the jihadist groups, right? No, they're nothing like the jihadist groups. And then, of course, the best part, WikiLeaks. Yeah, it's just WikiLeaks. We'll throw WikiLeaks in there. Why not? WikiLeaks, which gets information on world governments and tries to bring transparency to world governments to try to expose what kind of secret, fucked up shit they're doing behind the scenes. And by the way, they don't just do with the U.S. That's a misnomer. In fact, they recently published a whole bunch of shit on Russia, even though they're accused of being in bed with the Russian government. They exposed a lot of shit going on in the Russian deep state. So a group that's basically doing what journalists are supposed to do, you're including them with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Why? Because when you expose the secrets of the U.S. deep state, they will treat you like you're a terrorist. So if you do the job that the media is actually supposed to do, they will treat you like a terrorist because you're threatening their power. Because they know when you expose what these guys really do and what they're really responsible for, it makes them look really bad. And if it makes them look really bad, that's threatening to take away their power. And if you do that, they will ruthlessly and viciously come after you. So, goddamn. You know, not that this is totally related to this story, but the woman who uncovered, I think, the Panama Papers, it's called. We cover that story on the show, where it shows this worldwide, like, tax dodging scheme where all these super elite people are just hiding their money and paying virtually no taxes. The journalist who uncovered that died in a car bomb. Michael Hastings, for example, died in a car crash where his car randomly sped up and was going some really high speed and went right into a wall. You know, and this guy brought down generals. Like, he exposed really sensitive information about people. Is it conspiracy? I don't know. I mean, we know what the CIA is capable of. We know what they've done in the past, toppling the Iranian government because the Mohammad Mossadegh, the elected leader of Iran, wanted to take the oil profits and give them to the people of Iran instead of letting the U.S. and Britain fleece them. In South America, U.S. toppled every democratic government that didn't fall in line and propped up fascist governments. So I don't know if it's conspiracy or not when you talk about what these deep state agencies are doing, but WikiLeaks is a threat to their power, and that's why they throw them on the list with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, which, by the way, kind of proves the point about how dirty they are. And what's so crazy is Mike Pompeo, he was picked for this position by Trump to be the head of the CIA. He literally argued Snowden should be executed. The guy that's the head of the most secret, covert, dangerous agency in the U.S. thinks Edward Snowden should be executed for whistleblowing and showing all the crimes and unconstitutional actions that your government is doing and how they're spying on everybody. This guy thinks he should be killed. Remind me who the good guys are again?